played the number 5 team in the country, tooth and nail right down to the final play of the game. You said afterwards, perhaps more than any other game this year, you were pleased with the effort. When you went back and looked, how did you talked about effort. How did the guys execute? Because you're always talking about consistency and execution.
Right. Very high level. Really did some great things. Played well offensively and defensively. Had a couple close ones in the kicking game, but that the different units did well. Really good football team, 5th in the country, and we have an opportunity to win the game. We fight back. We tied the game, and we have a great day on defense. And then last drive, they made a 4th down play, and it was a great call on their part. We get them stopped. They have to kick a field goal, and their guy's a pretty good kicker, and he makes it. 4 seconds left on the clock after the ball goes through. Clock had run out, and it was a tough loss. But the effort, the amount of work, the amount of detail and attention to the game plan, I thought was great, and we're getting better each week. The tough thing is the competition seems to be getting better each week. So we've just got to continue to battle, continue to play better football, to teach better football, and one of these days it's gonna flip to our side.
You've never been big on moral victories, but it sounds like as long as the guys are improving based on everything going on with the team, the injuries, et cetera, you're going to take that for now.
Well, I don't like to lose. Nobody does. My wife, she used to play tennis, and, some of the most competitive people she ever met in her life were 78-year-old tennis players, and whether it's tennis or whether it's tiddlywinks or whether it's football, nobody likes to lose. And when you put as much effort and intensity into game planning, into practice, into getting your guys as fit as they can be, and you go out, the reward is winning. That the moral victory, all those different things that people say afterwards, it's really not that big a consolation. You want to win. That's what we work for. We're going to keep working for it and do everything that we can do to be better this week than we were last week.
Brad Butler went pretty much the whole way at quarterback, took a shot to the ribs, took a number of shots in the ball game. When you've watched him on film, what are you seeing out of him in terms of his development?
I think he's come a long way. I really admire his toughness, admire the way that he has grown and matured, has a great deal of poise in his game, and he threw the ball well, ran the ball well, and did a lot of great things. Took a rib shot, and we thought that that was it for the day, but he came to the sideline and took a couple plays off, and next thing you know, we get him back in there, and he helps us, tie the game up.
You get VMI this week. They have a brand new coach, Scott Wachenheim, who had been an assistant at Virginia. Are they doing things differently than from what Sparky Woods was doing up there last year?
Well, conceptually, offensively, they're still zoning it. They're still throwing the ball. Their quarterback's having a phenomenal year. He's probably one of the best at throwing the ball in the country, not just in our league. Where I've seen a tremendous amount of improvement, their kids are playing better technique, playing sounder. they have a tremendous amount of effort. You see a toughness in them, a competitiveness in them, and if you're going to beat them, you got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're solid. They're just a solid fundamental football team that has enough players to create explosive plays. And you have a defense that's a stubborn defense. I mean, they will get after you. There are times that they will bring the house on you. They're a defense that's constantly moving the front, trying to disrupt you as far as your blocking schemes and things like that.
You mentioned the quarterback, Al Cobb. Last week in the game against Mercer, he had a favorite target. Aaron Sanders had, I believe it was over 200 receiving yards. He had 16 receptions. Tell us about him and what your defense will have to do against a guy like him.
Well, I think the first thing you got to do, you got to try to make him uncomfortable back there in the pocket. He was in a zone. You can see it on film, and he was back there. He was comfortable. Him and the receiver were it's like you see Tom Brady and you see one of those receivers that he's got, the big tight end. It's like they're reading each other's mind as the play goes on, exactly where I'm going to be and where you need to put the ball. So it's going to be a great challenge for us.